here with a book review for you of this historical adult fiction called The Other Einstein by Marie Benedict. This book is kind of in the same vein as Half-Life, which I have a review for on this channel as well. This essentially follows Mileva Mitza Merrick, which I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, who was Albert Einstein's first wife. This is a fictionalized account, however, the author did base it on these love letters and between Albert and Mitza that are public through, I want to say Princeton. You can find them, I think, on their website, as well as other research. When these letters became public in the 80s, a lot of people speculated as to whether or not Mitza had a role in Einstein's theory of relativity, among other theories, and if if she did have a role, to what extent did she have a role? And the story is really interesting. Mitza has a disability. She has a limp that I believe she was born with, and she is Serbian, which at the time in the early 1900s, late 1800s, in Europe, that was kind of like a frowned upon ethnicity. And it's basically about how her father, you learn that her parents thought she may not ever be married because of her disability. So her father really encouraged her study in mathematics and science. And eventually she goes to this Polytechnic Institute in Zurich, Switzerland. And she studies there, and she's one of only a handful of females. And it's kind of about, what happens when she takes this class and meets Albert Einstein. And honestly, it really turned my perspective of Albert Einstein on its head. Not that, I don't put him in the same vein as, say, like a Stephen Hawking or Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I admire, even though I do disagree with both of those scientists on certain things because they often lack like a spiritual element that I think is crucial. But other than that, I think they're very amazing minds. And I did always admire Albert Einstein, but this was very interesting how he was portrayed by Marie Benedict in this book, because he kind of evolves into this really self-centered, egotistic, narcissistic person. And I think that's very interesting. If you don't know, he does end up, as I said, this was his first wife. He does eventually marry his first cousin. Elsa becomes his second wife, and that's mentioned in here. But overall, this book was really interesting, and I'm not really sure how I feel about Albert Einstein anymore in regard to him as like a person and not just a scientist. I did like Half-Life a little bit better. Marie Curie, maybe her story just really resonated with me. I don't know. I think the writing was a little bit a different style. So that book really captured me, especially emotionally. This book was really good. I did give it 4 stars because I found it very interesting. It's not too sciencey. There is science in here, but it really focuses on Mitza trying to take her science and her math and find like divine order within that. And I think that's really interesting. And like I said, seeing Albert Einstein through someone else's eyes, whether it be the author or Mitza, is very interesting. So this is historical fiction. If you are interested in historical fiction, if you are interested in romance, because at the beginning there is a romantic element, but that changes throughout the story. If you're interested in women facing adversity, I would say this is an excellent book, because not only does she face adversity in her career and her studies, but also in her role in the time period that she lived in, and in being a famous scientist's wife who potentially rode to fame on her work, essentially. As I said, we don't know if there's proof to that. It's merely speculation, but to be a fly on the wall would have been very interesting. Overall, I really like this book, so much so that I did order 2 others by Marie Benedict. I ordered her book about Agatha Christie, which, if you don't know, Agatha Christie went missing for a period of time, and some people debate whether that was like her own orchestration. And then I did not order the Carnegie one. I ordered The Only Woman in the Room, which is about Heidi Keisler, who was married to someone who was in the Nazi party, and she was a scientist and then eventually became a Hollywood movie star, and I think she went potentially undercover maybe. So I thought that was interesting. So I did order those because when I finished this, it was the 2 days of Amazon Prime days, and books were buy one get one 50% off, I believe. So I thought, why not order those two? It was actually cheaper than buying a used copy of each on eBay. So, but overall, this book was really interesting. It's not particularly fast-paced, and the writing is, besides the science parts of it, like the writing style is pretty simple. It's not overly descriptive or ornamental in any way. If you have read this and enjoyed this and you're just want to hear someone else's opinion, I highly suggest you check out Half-Life. Like I said, review on this channel for that. If I remember, I will link it somewhere within this video. If you enjoyed Half-Life, then I would recommend this, but just know that the writing styles are a bit different. So that is all I have for you today. I will have an Ipsy June bag review soon. I'm still waiting for it to arrive. It seems to take forever once it ships to actually reach me. It takes like 2 weeks to get here, and I don't know why, because it's shipping within the United States, so it's crazy to me that it takes so long. But I will have that for you soon as well. So in the meanwhile, happy reading, happy writing, and stay introverted. Bye!